anybody is having trouble hearing me or seeing the screen, just type in the chat box there. I do have Carrie here helping me out, keeping an eye on things, so hopefully we can get through any roadblocks that we might have. All right, so thank you so much for joining us today for one of our regional food bank Lunch and Learn webinars. Also, just to let you know, we are recording this webinar. We post all of our Lunch and Learn webinars on the Regional Food Bank website. So if you want to go back through this one at a later date, or even watch some of our past topics, you can select Agency tab on the website, then go to Agency Resources and Forums. Also, I want to let you know, I'm going to be muting all the lines to help eliminate any backfeed that we might be getting. We sometimes get them through outside phone lines. So if you do have any questions as we go along, please type them into the communication box, the chat box on your screen, and I'll try to get to them as I go along. But if I don't, I've also allowed time at the end where I will cover anything that I might have missed. All right. So also just want to point out, give you a little heads up, that when it comes to the Healthy Pantry initiative, I have so much information I could share with you and that we could really talk all day, but it is Friday, and I'm going to take pity on all of you and just talk for an hour, okay? So that's why today I just wanted to begin by talking about how to take the first steps within the Healthy Pantry initiative, where to begin. And if anyone is interested in more information or assistance, Denise or I would be more than happy to talk more with you or even meet with you. Denise Schultz and I am Kristen Bopp. We are Just Say Yes to Fruits and Vegetables nutrition educators here at the Food Bank, and we both oversee and implement the Healthy Pantry initiative. Okay, so let's begin. So, hold on a sec, there we go. The first thing I want to cover here, today's agenda, the first thing we're going to do is introduce you a little bit to the Healthy Pantry initiative, tell you a little bit of background about it. Then we're going to go into where to begin. Where do you start with all this? Because like I said, it is a lot of information, and what should the first steps be? Then we're going to talk to you about some of the JSY nutritionists' top 5 favorite techniques. This was actually designed by the Food Bank for New York City, and they let me steal their ideas here and share with you our top 5 favorite techniques. And I will also go over a starter packet that everybody that's talking with me right now on this call will be receiving, and all the fun stuff that is going to be in it for you. And I did leave time at the end for questions and answers, so we can answer some of that at the end as well. All right. So a little overview for you. The Healthy Pantry Initiative, or what we call HPI for short, is a program used to increase access to healthy food choices in our pantries. So we use things like environmental changes, pantry layouts, and marketing-like strategies, just like you would see in your everyday grocery store, in order to meet the goals of this program. The Healthy Pantry Initiative was developed based off of a study by Feeding America and Cornell University that found that implementing strategies increased the likelihood that guests took at least one healthy option, or what we like to call a food to encourage. Sometimes you'll see it on our forms labeled as F2Es. So it showed that these strategies increase the likelihood that guests took these foods, these healthier options, by 46%. So here at the Regional Food Bank and also the Food Bank of the Hudson Valley, we implemented this program across our service area 3 years ago, And to date, we have worked with 16 programs, including 10 pantries just last year. All right, so these strategies that I was talking about, we call these strategies nutritional nudges. Nutritional nudges are indirect, simple, low to no cost changes that you make to the pantry environment. And I really want to stress simple, low to no cost, because we know how busy each and every one of you are every day in your pantry. And we don't want this implementation to be a burden on you or feel like it's another huge thing that's been thrown on your plate. The Healthy Pantry initiative is an optional initiative. It's not something that we make anybody do, but we do want to make sure that it's simple and easy for you to make these changes within your pantry. All right. Some examples of nudges are things such as signage. That can include little shelf tags that you put next to different healthy options on the pantry shelves. It could be posters, such as a giant My Plate poster in your waiting room. And it could be something even indirectly related, such as wall art, pictures of baskets of fruits and vegetables hanging up throughout the pantry. Another example of nudges are food and equipment arrangements, farmers market style baskets to display your produce, or produce shelves, or glass front refrigerators so that you can see the fruits and vegetables that are stored in your refrigerators. Handouts such as recipes and tip sheets, and even handouts that could include some fun facts about food. Something that will get your guests thinking about the healthier options that you have to offer. And even taste samples that encourage clients to select healthy foods. It could be a taste sample of an actual recipe that was prepared that includes the healthy food that you would like to nudge, or even something just simple as slicing up a mango for guests to try, since maybe not many of your guests have had mangoes before, something along those lines. So these changes are considered positive marketing strategies, and like I said earlier, are based upon different techniques used in supermarkets and other retail spaces. Suggestive selling is going on all the time. For example, when you go into the grocery store, you see those huge elaborate displays, the soda displays that around Super Bowl time are shaped like football fields and end zones and that sort of thing. So these are kind of the nudges. Those are the same techniques that we want to take into our food pantry and use them on the healthier foods for us. All right. So where to begin? You really like the concept that I'm talking about of Healthy Pantry. You like the idea of providing healthier options for your clients. So maybe you have even ordered healthier options and they've been sitting on your shelves and people really haven't been eager to take them. So where do you begin with all that? Okay. Number one, most important, the very first thing, first step that we have found that makes both implementation and sustainability. Sorry guys, it's Friday. The most important step that we have found that makes implementation and sustainability a success is buy-in. Is everyone in your pantry willing to make the change? Are they willing to help make that change? Are they willing to implement? This may include even changing the organization and layout of your pantry. It doesn't have to, but that's just one of the things that may come up as an option that you choose. Also, how comfortable is everyone with talking about the healthy decisions? Begin by meeting with your staff and volunteers to discuss HPI. And in that meeting, explain to them, especially very importantly, why you want to implement the Healthy Pantry initiative. Explain what it is, how you want to implement it, but again, most importantly, why you want to implement. Everyone today, like I said earlier, will be receiving a starter packet, and I'll go over everything that's in the starter packet at the end of our presentation today. But one of the things in the packet is a Healthy Pantry assessment. So take time to complete the Healthy Pantry self-assessment to see where your pantry stands. This assessment really helps you gauge where your pantry stands and what changes you might find you want to make within the pantry. Be honest with yourself when taking the assessment, because it can give you an idea of any of the areas you would like to improve on. But with that being said, also I want to stress that what I don't want you to do is think that you're doing something wrong or bad if some of your answers are, oh, you know what, I never do that, or I rarely do that. That just may point you in a direction of something that you may want to work on or switch up a little bit. So another handout in your packet is titled Objectives and Strategies Checklist. So after you do the self-assessment, you use this checklist, which is a list of different goals that you can choose from based off of the areas you want to focus on. So review the objectives and strategies and figure out some ideas that you want to implement. Moral of the story with all of this is that it is very important to find the areas you want to focus on and decide on strategies you feel that you can implement. All right. So you also may decide you need a staff training on this. JSY can help you. Denise and I can definitely help you with this. We can also help with any assessment or strategy planning with you as well, seeing where you might want to put in any of the focus on. Right? And this slide right here kind of just gives you a snapshot of what each of the assessments kind of looks like. I know it's hard to see because they're pretty small, but like I said, they will be in the packets that you'll be receiving. All right? So my first tip for you when you begin implementing is to remember always to take small steps. You may go through the objective and strategies checklist and think, whoa, everything sounds good. This is amazing. Let's implement everything right now. And you know what? Let's start next week. That's a big load to implement there. So remember, take small steps, find 1 or 2 or 3 objectives that you want to start with. And also keep in mind, too much can be overwhelming for both the pantry and the guests. So, and also keep in mind that some people do have a hard time with change, especially our guests who may be going through a crisis in their life. They just want the comfort of a little familiarity. I knew I was going to botch that word, but I got it. So even having, making the small changes really helps with everybody in the pantry just feel a little bit more comfortable. Also, small changes will help to track what strategies may or may not work best for you. And it's important to remember that not every strategy will be a success. And I don't want you to feel disappointed or like Healthy Pantry just doesn't work for you because you haven't seen any success with one of the strategies you implemented. This may just be an indication that you go back to your checklist, find a new strategy, and try implementing that. With that being said, however, my next tip for you is to give it a little bit of time. I have a lot of corny sayings that I use over and over in both my JSY classes and HPI, so bear with me, but Rome wasn't built in a day. Doctors and dietitians explain to people who are trying to eat healthier that it takes about 2 months before a new habit becomes normal, or even that it takes at least 10 to 12 times for your taste buds to decide if it likes new food. So keep that in mind when you're going through these nudges. Many times your guests are trying something new for the first time. When they choose these foods, you're encouraging, so give them a little time, give them repeat exposure, and it might take a little bit for you to see a change happen. All right. My last tip for you now is to make sure that you reinforce your strategies that you're implementing. Reinforce these nudges that you're putting into place. Everyone learns differently, and also repetition really helps things stick. So first things first, choose the objective, choose the nudge that you want to implement, then provide nutrition education, promotional materials, and maybe an activity that all kind of corresponds with that nudge. An example for you, you may choose to make canned or dried beans always available at your pantry, all right? So for your nutrition education, you may have staff or volunteers talk to them about different varieties that you have to offer as they're bringing the guests through the pantry. They may say something like, oh, we have these dried pinto beans. Have you ever tried them? They really aren't as hard to prepare as you think. Here's some really easy directions on how to soak them and get them ready for your recipe. So then provide that handout for them as part of your promotional material. Maybe hang shelf tags next to the beans saying something like, these are a great source of fiber and protein. Provide recipes that they may want to try out that includes those beans on them. And an activity that you could also have could be to display, have a display showing the different stages of soaking the beans, what each stage looks like. You could offer taste samples of a bean recipe, or another thing that one of the HPI sites has done is hang a whiteboard so that guests can share with each other their favorite ways to prepare, say, pinto beans. So the good news for you guys is that you don't have to create these handouts. We do have so many different handouts available on so many different fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, dairy, all sorts of stuff like that that we are available to you guys as a library, as a resource that you don't have to sit around and create all these handouts. So just let us know what you want. Let us know maybe what your nudges are, and we can get all sorts of stuff pulled together for you. All right? So that was our basic where to start. Now I want to, like I said, borrow an idea from the Food Bank for New York City, share some of the JSY nutritionists' top 5 favorite techniques. And as we go along with this, I'll share with you what our favorite techniques are, and then I'll show you some pictures of examples of how they've been implemented into pantries that we've worked with. All right. So our first favorite technique is presentation matters. Placing items at eye level, not too high, not too low. When you go in the grocery store, for example, the marketing, let's say you go down the cereal aisle, marketing is geared towards the kids that are sitting in the shopping carts. So what are all the cereals that are at eye level of all those kids? All those sugary, high cost cereals for you. So that's the same concept that we want to pull into our pantries, making sure that all those healthy options are at the eye level. So it's the first thing that our guests see as they come in. Another thing is what we call facing. So taking items and moving, consistently, constantly moving them to the front of the shelf. So it looks like you have more of an abundance of products there. Some of the feedback that we received was that when items look like they're too low, like you're running out of items, say there are only a couple of apples left in the basket. Sometimes our guests might feel like, you know what, I don't really need those apples. They'll save them for somebody else who needs them more, so they'll pass on that. Even though you may have 3 cases of apples somewhere else that you could always pull out. So always facing and moving items to the front of the shelf so that it looks like you have enough for everybody available. And also using things like special shelving or equipment to highlight items. So here are a couple of pictures explaining that. So the first picture you see is a pantry shelf that has everything nice and neatly lined up, pulled to the front of the shelf. The one up in the top corner, on the one side you have things like, I think that's lettuce and carrots and celery just placed into the fridge. The other side shows it sitting up and moving it front, so it looks like there's a nice big bulk item in there. And the bottom picture underneath that is just showing that that's where you really want to place those foods that you want to nudge, right there at eye level. So like I said before, first thing that clients see. This is a before and after picture here of one of the pantries that showcases their whole grains shelf. And you'll see in the after picture, not only did they straighten everything up and use the facing technique, but they also posted shelf tags there to kind of give everybody some background information on the products that are on that shelf. And these pictures are all different examples of using special shelving or equipment. You see the produce stands or the baskets. It looks like you're going through a farmer's market. All right, so our next favorite technique is sell the goods. Just like you were in a grocery store, you want people to want to take those products. I just talked about using signs and pictures to market the item. Be sure to include nutrition education and promotion at the same time. Like we said, this could be shelf tags, large posters, pictures. The packets that you will be receiving all have some shelf tags and small signs and even some shelf clips for you to start adding these to your shelves for you. So here are some examples of different shelf tags and nutritional handouts. The bottom one is a handout that showcases how the heck do you cut into that butternut squash? How do you prepare that thing? So it gives pictures and word descriptions as to how to cook that butternut squash. The picture of the eggplant has a recipe there for you, so you can take the eggplant and make the recipe at the same time. And the one on the bottom just says, you know what, this is a healthy pick for you. These carrots are lower in sodium. And these are more different or more ways to use signage. Some pantries use shopping carts and just placing different signs on the end of the shopping cart so that every time you put something in that cart, your eye immediately goes back to that sign as constant encouragement. The clipboards, they put just a nutrition education on the clipboards because that pantry is what we call a grocery list pantry. So you circle the items on a sheet of paper that you may want in your pantry bags, and when they get to the end, they see that nutrition education, and they may want to go back through and find something like that oatmeal that they're showing there. And also, too, something fun, just like a stand like that shows 5 fun facts about carrots. It just gets your mind thinking about that item and being, ooh, you know what? I just read about carrots, and look, I see carrots on the shelf right here. Maybe I'll just take some. Right. And these are examples of bigger poster signage for you. Something saying fresh fruits and vegetables, or vary your vegetables, or here's your protein selection over here. And these larger signs just draw your eyes to them. Even that top picture with the sign of the vary your vegetables, even if it didn't have the words on it, it's still just a pretty picture with all the fruits and vegetables, and it just looks more inviting. Multiple colors and bright flashy colors like that have been shown to release endorphins in your brain to make you think happy thoughts and that sort of thing. So even the bright pictures, the bright colors of fruits and vegetables just kind of draws people in. All right. The next technique we have, we really enjoy doing our meal kits. Meal kits are bundled ingredients together based on different recipes that include your food that you want to nudge. Really, honestly, the hardest part of meal kits really should be assembling them. The great thing is that here at the Regional Food Bank, we are putting together a library of some successful meal kits that pantries have said really worked well for them. So we do have some selections. Another thing we want you to remember when you're making these meal kits, one thing we don't want you to have to do is buy anything new or extra or anything like that. So we can sit down with you and look through your ordering history and try and find recipes that might be beneficial based on the foods that you already have on your shelves. Always be sure to include the recipe with the bundle, and place it in or display it in a place where people will see it before people begin to make their selections. Make sure the staff all know about the meal kits and how to promote them and why to promote them. And like I said, we can help you assemble not assemble these meal kits, but pick out recipes that'll be successful for you in them. So here are some examples of some of the meal kits. The top one is a black beans and rice meal kit that they threw together. That pantry really wanted to push their black beans. They had pretty much an endless supply of black beans come in, and they just needed more room on their shelves. So they did this black beans and rice recipe. They made the recipe and had clients sample it as they were waiting. And then they also promoted it on their Facebook page. You'll notice all the recipes do have, or all the meal kits do have the recipes on them. And they're being bundled up in various ways. Some are in paper bags, some are in the plastic, little plastic bags. This bottom picture is the Facebook page post about the beans that they were putting out there. All right, so our next favorite technique is be your own expert. Host your own taste test. You can find a lot of healthy recipes on the JSY website. Also, the USDA Mixing Bowl website has a lot of recipes that you can choose from too. And Carrie has created a packet, a guideline for you to follow for food safety procedures if you did want to offer taste tests. It's really very simple to use, so we can absolutely get you those guidelines if you're interested. And feature an ingredient. So being your own expert, feature an ingredient from your pantry that might be new or unusual, or one that people, like I said, may avoid. I don't know if anybody knows this, but we have just a few pinto beans in our inventory right now. So that might be one that you might want to promote. They're low cost, really easy to use, and very versatile in many different recipes. Also too, you can even create a healthy library in your pantry using a magazine rack or a bulletin board to display nutrition information, fun, like I said before, fun facts, recipes, all sorts of different communication on these fun and healthy healthy options. So again, this one is an example of one of the volunteers at the pantry came up with the idea to replace half the meat in meatballs or meatloaf or even tacos with cooked lentils. Lentils cook just as easy as rice does, so it doesn't take that long soaking process like a pinto bean or split pea would. So it's a great addition to any of those meals, and it just adds a little bit of protein to it. And the volunteer that did this, it says she's been doing it forever in her pantry. So it was just an idea they came up with to promote those lentils. The picture on the other side is just a magazine rack with all sorts of different flyers. There's one on there with how to utilize different spices, how to prepare beets. What do you do with all these beets that you're giving us? One of them is how to take a recipe and convert it for the crock pot so that you can just throw those things into a crock pot. So there's all sorts of different information that people can take from, and they rotate different flyers on that rack. These are two examples of taste testing that's being done in a pantry. You don't even need a kitchen to do any of these things. The lady on the one side is just offering fruits, or it looks like just vegetables, a veggie tray for people to try all the different vegetables. Sometimes people see those little bags of the little baby peppers and think that maybe they're spicy peppers because they're so small. So just offering them a taste test of those little baby bell peppers and letting them see that these are actually really sweet and really yummy, and even a great snack for the kids. Just nudges guests to take the item. The other lady is actually preparing a recipe. It looks like a stir-fried bag mix. So she's making a recipe for everybody to sample. And it can be a really fun activity that you have right in the pantry. All right. And just to bring everything full circle, like I said in the beginning, our most favorite technique is making sure that everybody is all in on it, making it a team effort, making sure that everybody is a champion pushing this initiative in your pantry, and it really empowering staff and volunteers to make them feel like part of the change and utilizing their ideas so that this can be a sustainable program and really have a long life in your pantry. And again, educate on why you want to do it, not just what the Healthy Pantry Initiative is or how you think we should implement it. Really get everybody's feedback and ideas on it. And training staff and volunteers is also a great technique to implement. And like I said, Denise or myself, the JSY program is really eager and available to help you implement any of this that you want. And you really have more success when you have everybody really buy into your program. All right, so the starter packets that I was talking about for you guys, like I said, everybody will be receiving a starter packet so that your pantry can really have the best tools necessary to get the ball rolling with this. One of the examples or some of the things that you're going to be getting is the self-assessment that I talked about earlier, as well as the objectives and strategy checklist. The great thing about the objectives and strategy checklist is that there's a column down the side that that gives you the option to say, you know what, this is something I want to do now, or even this is something that I want to come back to at another time. And you can really use it to gauge your timeline as far as your implementing goes. All right, so like I said before, small steps, some of the things you might be easy to just implement and get going right away. And then as things take off, then you might implement more things as you go along. Another handout that is going to be in here is titled, it's the colored one up in the corner, it's called Stocking a Healthy Pantry. And this just highlights some of those foods that you really want to encourage, those healthier options that you really want to encourage, such as whole grains, fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables, trying to make sure the canned vegetables are low sodium. The canned fruits are packed in either 100% fruit juice or low sugar options. All your protein foods, especially your dried beans, your peas, your lentils, lean proteins, trying to do unbreaded proteins as much as possible, or low sodium canned fish or meat, and fat-free or low-fat milk, and yogurts and cheeses. Those are all the healthier items that you really want to try and highlight as much as possible. There's also a brochure in there about the Healthy Pantry Initiative that just backs up some of the things that we've talked about. And Denise and my business card are in there as well, with our phone number and email address, so that you can contact us anytime you have any questions or want more information. All right. So another thing that you're going to be getting in your starter packets are, like I said earlier, a bunch of shelf tags. So the shelf tags on the one side have all sorts of fun pictures of fruits or whole grains and beans and veggies and that sort of thing. And all the shelf tags are laminated. So if you take a dry erase marker, you can put any nutrition message that you want to put on there. And the great thing about it is that with a little bit of water or Windex and a paper towel, you can rub it off and put something new and switch it up every now and then. The other shelf tags, the arrow and the star, I found are really good ones to put. One of the pantries has done a Superstar of the Month where they highlight a new fruit or vegetable every month, and every time somebody comes into the pantry, their eyes just go straight towards those stars, and you'll see the Superstar. And underneath it just says, "This is a Superstar veggie, ask me why." And that really gives into the staff or volunteer talking up the fruits and vegetables and just having that open conversation about the healthy foods options. The arrow, you can put arrows pointing in the direction of your healthy food shelf, or the healthy food nudge that you're putting in there. So you'll get a variety of more than just one of the star and the arrow, just so you know. I just put a picture of an example, but you'll get a couple of each of them for you. These are some shelf tags that you can use. The one on the left was created by Cornell Cooperative Extension, and they've let us use them. The great thing about them, they're those bright, vibrant colors that I was telling you about, but also in the lower corner, you can see that the HipNap bag guidelines have been put down there. So if you, it might be something nice to help you with, so that you can look really quickly at it and see, for a family of 4, this is how many fruit options I need to give out. And just having those on the shelf not only helps the guests get nudged towards that item, but it also helps the staff and volunteers give them a little heads up as to how many options on that shelf they can give. And by all means, they can also give more if they want. The ones on the other side are just another example of different shelf tags, and so you have different options that you'll be getting. All right. On the left, you'll see examples of the shelf clips that you'll be getting. There's 2 different types on there. So you'll just be getting a variety of both of them. So you'll be getting those. And the other side are just 8 by 11 posters that you can hang throughout the pantry. And that's it. All right. So questions and answers, questions that you may have that I can answer for you. What questions do you have? Yep, I will take everybody off of mute, I think. Unless I hear feedback, I'll take everybody off mute so that you can all talk and share your feedback. Ask your questions. All right. Is everybody excited to jump in and start this? What's that question, please? Are there any barriers or concerns that have been identified for pantries who are hesitant about participating in HPI? A lot of times people have stated that time is a concern, also cost is a concern. But like I said, all the strategies that are provided are low to no cost implementations that you can make. Also, too, the JSY program does have some funding that we can assist you with certain implementation strategies. So that's something we can definitely work with you on and help you to help to cover the cost on some of those. I said too that time, people have said that time was a concern as well. But like I said, if you start small and do small nudges here and there, it really won't be a time-consuming project at all. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for calling in today and being a part of this webinar. I look forward to hearing from everybody and answering any questions that you might have. And enjoy your Friday and have a great weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You did a wonderful job. Very
Thank you.
informative.